We're going to be looking at the vowels now in more detail and specifically when to use them, because as you know, most of the time they're left out and you only need them in certain circumstances. And we're talking about the half vowels. The full vowels are used for even more specific reasons that you'll find out later on. So they are similar to each other, but when you're learning them, it's best to focus really on A and I, because E and U are the same, and as we'll see later on, you won't get them confused. And O is completely different, so E and U just go straight down, and A goes in that angle, and I goes in the other direction. So if you just learn those two and try not to get those confused, then that will be an easy way to learn these half vowels. So when do we use them? The first reason is at the beginning and end of words when they're sounded. For example, E-T, eat. A-T, ate. Not at, because that's a special outline. T-O at the end. Toe or two. Two double O, not T-O, because again that's a special outline. At the beginning, O-T is out. So if you've got two vowels, you need only one. Tie, T-I. See, S-E. Say, S-A. And we'll come to that later on about why that's used for the Y, and you just use the vowel A because that's the sound. So this is see, and this is say. And if you want sigh, S-I, it's a bit long. So you can practice with those three to help you to get used to these vowels and their directions. So say goes that way towards the right and sigh towards the left. So you need the vowels at the beginning and the end of words when they're sounded. You also need them to make it easier to write. If I wanted a word like bend, I need a B and an N and a D. But to join those together makes a bit of a messy outline. So to make it clearer, you insert the E. And here again are some words to help you learn these vowels. So that would be bend, band, bind. Another one to join with a vowel is if you had the word seize. You've got two S's together, much easier to join with a vowel. Size with the Z, and I'm doing a sort of a figure of 8 motion there so that I get the I in and the S for the Z goes the other way. So you put the vowels in to make it easier to write and also easier to read. The third reason for putting the vowel in is to make it easier to read. So if I had a word like put, I need a P and a T. But because T and D are the same, there's quite a few possibilities that that could be. It could be paid as well. So, and other words too. So in order to reduce the possibilities, you put a vowel in. But in this case, you put it in afterwards. So if I wanted that to be put, I put the U in. So now it reduces the possibilities of what it could be. If I wanted pad, I put the A in. But of course that could also be pat. But the gist of the sentence will generally tell you. It's just to be a bit clearer. So there are the three reasons for putting the vowels in. To make it at the beginning and the end when you can hear the vowel. in the middle to make it easier to write and also to make it easier to read. Now, I mentioned it before, but we're going to go over the letter Y and what it has to do with the vowel and the endings. The letter Y is used in its usual form only at the beginning of words. So for words like yellow, yet, you realise the pause is so that you can have a chance to read it yourself. Youth. So don't forget, it's important to have that little tail for the Y, otherwise it looks like a full U. So at the beginning of words is when you use the Y as it should be. But for Y sounds and A and I sounds at the ends of words, then you use the vowels. For example, A-Y, lay, just use an A, stay, bay, say we had earlier. Now after a P, M and H, you can put the vowel in full and it makes it clearer. So P-A, may, sorry, P-A, pay, may, hay. Dismay. But the point is, you're just using an A for the whole sound A-Y. And the sound I or I, and I-Y, is also the vowel. Buy. Lie, we had before. Guy. And again, it's easier to do, remember there's two directions for the A and the I. I can go that way, but it also can go upwards, which is a slightly different angle. So this is an I upwards. I know lie slipped in there, and it shouldn't really be there because it's not finished by an ending in an I, ending in a Y, so you can ignore it if you like. But it's the sound that we're talking about. Busy. So here we have Y representing the sound I for I. Any. Again, it's a Y, and again, it's an I going upwards. And it could be for ly as well. Sadly. Badly. And you could even miss the L out. For the very common ending ly, you can miss the L out completely and just use an I for ly. Nearly. Quickly. Quickie. So when do you use the Y again? You use the Y as it is at the beginning, and I'll change colour pen so you can see it a bit more clearly. If it comes in the middle or at the end of a word, Y represents the sound oi, as in boy, toy. So you see a real proper Y and it's representing oi. And if you just see the vowel, it's just representing the sound and you don't need to put the Y in. In the middle, you've got loyal. Loyally would just have the I on the end for Y. So this is loyal, this is loyally. Royal. royalty, again representing Y at the end. So here's a good word to practice this bit of theory. So you've got the oi in the middle represented by a letter Y, and at the end you've got an I representing the letter Y. And finally, annoy. Can blend it in nicely here. So just to recap, but don't forget these are all in our lessons, explained and exercises and things for you to practice. But just to recap, at the end of a word, you don't use the Y unless it's representing oi. So you use the I or A depending on the sound. Lay, stay, bay. Buy, guy, busy. You use the letter Y at the beginning for words like yellow, yet and youth, and in the middle and at the end it represents oi. So now you can have a practice with the lessons and the exercise in our course in lesson 2.